One of the punchlines I keep hearing over and over again during this whole COVID 19 crisis is that we're all in this together, right? If you go to Walmart, every 10 minutes or so on the intercom, there's an announcement of stay safe, stay healthy, and then there's a chorus, we're all in this together. And I gotta point out that in a lot of ways, we're not all in this together. Just my own observation. A couple weeks ago, quite a number of college students caused quite a stir when they were out partying. I think it was a holiday. Oh, there was the Spanish holiday, Cinco de Mayo, and then before that there was the Mardi Gras. I don't follow any of that, by the way. I love to go out, but I've never followed any of those events. But obviously, a number of people were not very happy with the college students. And I got to point out something. College students generally are not terrorists, right? They don't go out with the idea that, oh my God, how many elderly people or how many immunocompromised people can I kill with COVID-19 today, right? They were going out for their own personal goals, right? They might have had stress from their exams. They might have been thinking about the future and wanting to meet their future spouse. They might have been hoping to meet up with somebody who can get them into some career, or I'm sure they have very positive goals. Very few people go out with the idea, oh, I want to give somebody COVID-19, right? There have been a few isolated cases, but practically nobody thinks that way, right? And then on the other side of the equation, you have people who are elderly or who have immune problems or other problems, maybe some disabilities. They don't want to have COVID-19 on top of that, right? And they're seeing college students. There was this one kid who was really dumb, in my opinion. He looks at the camera and he says, if you get COVID-19, if I get COVID-19, it's not going to stop me from partying. I'm going to go out and party. I'll let you Google that. He became very famous over saying that. It made it into quite a number of other videos. And I don't think his idea was he wants to give people viruses. He has his own personal agendas to accomplish, right? And then you got elderly people who they part of the reason they might be immunocompromised is because of their lifestyle, but at the same time they enjoy the lifestyle, or at least they don't see any other way around it, right? 17 years ago I used to drink a lot of soda, and to be honest, up until a few months before I quit the soda, I didn't see any way around it, right? It wasn't because I wanted to do that so that I could be immunocompromised and then I could pick on other people who go on spring break. It wasn't because of that. It was because my whole life revolved around soda, because I liked drinking it. I thought I liked drinking it. I thought I liked the taste of it. I thought my taste buds would be useless without the soda. It's not true, but it wasn't because it was so that I could pick on other people, right? So the whole idea that we're all in this together, yeah, there are commonalities between our common goals, but everybody has lifestyles that clash with one another, unfortunately. And it made me reflect on how I handle my professional life. I have a habit of sometimes when I go to work or when I'm negotiating with my landlord, I have a tendency to have this we're all in this together mentality, sometimes to my detriment. I ended up having to negotiate with my landlord a month ago because I needed to extend my lease. You see, I usually live out of my car for 6-7 months out of the year, and I was going to move out into my car at the beginning of spring. Actually, I already did, and then we went into lockdown, and so I moved into here. And I didn't think this whole thing would last nearly as long as it did. And I ended up having to extend my lease, and I had to talk to my landlord. It became a very uncomfortable situation because when I first moved into the apartment, I carried the attitude of we're all in this together, and I became very friendly with the landlord, almost to the point of not setting the right boundaries. I bragged to her about my writing computer games, bragged to her about viewing the night sky. I just went out to view Jupiter and Saturn in conjunction earlier tonight, bragging to her about taking advantage of the financial markets, the earlier when the stock markets were crashing, We were talking about how to use astrology to predict how low they will go, and which ones to pick, and how to buy foreign stocks and all that. It got very relaxed. My relationship with the landlord. It wasn't appropriate. It wasn't to the point of being like illegal or anything, but it made the landlord tenant relationship kind of messy as a result. And eventually, when I had to renew the lease, it just made it very tricky. It was my right to renew the lease because of the state of emergency that Washington State is in, but I made it a lot messier than I had to. I do this at work a lot too. See, I work with a lot of people who are. I'm from Taiwan natively, and I work with a lot of people also from Taiwan. Sometimes we get very personal, to the point of sharing things that you would probably not even share with somebody you were dating. Sometimes, what we like to do for our hobbies, where we're going on vacation, our eating habits. Eating habits can be a little bit tricky because if somebody offers me food, if you know me, you know that I take my diet very seriously. I make very few exceptions, and so I have to bring that up. But even then, I could be a little bit more vague about it. Sometimes I brag way too much about how I quit drinking soda 17 years ago and how I started reading labels and all that. It gets too personal, and sometimes, especially if I'm doing it with my manager, sometimes they capitalize on it. Some of these people are very smart. So I'm teaching at a startup university. I'm an adjunct professor there. Anyway, sorry my battery died. So I'm teaching at a university. They opened their doors in 2018, so we're still kind of new. Very small groups, obviously. We're still working toward accreditations, right? And last fall, I was scheduled to teach 2 of the courses, and maybe this third one. We weren't sure yet. And my manager calls me on a Sunday night, and he's excited that I'm going to start teaching this other course too. And I got very excited. And then I bragged to him about all my personal life. I'm competing in the computer game conference, what I just viewed in the night sky earlier tonight, some games I'm writing, an argument I got into with my girlfriend, yada, yada, yada. I used to do that a lot. I love dumping those stories out. That's why I love making some of these YouTube videos. Sometimes these stories just brew in my head, and if I don't have a camera or a person to say it to, it gets very annoying sometimes. And so I dumped it out on my manager. I really shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't. It was not appropriate. But anyways, so the next day I go into the campus to start we have monthly courses, right? And did very well. Had very good chemistry with the students. And a couple of days later, actually, at the end of the first week, I get a phone call. I was out shopping. This was before social distancing, where we could actually mingle with people at the stores. I had a good time. And the phone rings. And my manager calls me and says, "Oh, I'm just about to direct deposit your first paycheck. It should be this amount, right?" And the amount didn't sound right at all. But I was with my friends at the grocery store, and I said, "Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right." And I didn't even challenge it. And to make the situation even crazier, just then my phone battery happened to die. I have a habit of reading stuff online all the time. I drain out my phone batteries. So it wasn't until like an hour and a half later that I get my phone charged again. I call him back to ask him what happened. How'd you get that amount? I thought about it. It didn't seem right. And it turned out the other course that he wanted me to start the next day, he was only paying about half as much as I thought it was. Because I had taught that course before. That wasn't the first thing. I didn't even think about, if anything, I should be getting a raise, but I was happy with getting the same amount. I didn't even think about it. And long story short is that the big picture is that my little chit-chats about the game conference, traveling, my situation with my girlfriend, and how social distance is killing me, and yada 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 is costing me that. So I measured out how much I lost every week during that 1 month, that quarter. That's about how much it was, which is annoying if you think about it, because my expenses didn't go down when I accepted that low amount. Right, I still had to drive to the office. I still had to I had to keep myself healthy, and it just goes to show that. We're not all. We hope to all be in this together, but it's not always that case. And it made me dial down on how I talk to my manager. Now he thinks I'm super shy. I'm not. I used to be way too talkative, and it weakened my situation with him. And then I got very talkative with my landlord when I moved here. I guess the social distancing didn't help either. That's why I've been recording 10 videos a day. I need some place to dump all this out sometimes before I dump it onto the wrong person. It's all good. I gotta think about that. It's actually every week when I'm collecting my unemployment now, it's a reminder of what could go wrong, because obviously it's based on what I made last year, and it doesn't help. Anyway, so take the idea that we're all in this together with a grain of salt. Thanks for watching.